Hello and welcome to this spotlight episode on Brunton's Mechanical Traveller, a short review of lesser-known locomotives from the early days of steam. The first ever steam railway locomotive was that built by Richard Trevithick for the Penny Darren tramway in South Wales. It was first steamed in February 1804, but sadly this engine proved to be too heavy for the brittle cast iron tram plate it ran on. Eventually it was put aside as a stationary engine, and finally found its way as a colliery winding engine at Frosty Fan Pit, where it was scrapped sometime in the late 1850s. Crucially, like the Frenchman Nicolas Cugnot before him, Trevithick had proved a vehicle could be propelled by the application of power to a wheel, both on the road and on a smooth iron rail. Penny Darren wasn't the only engine Trevithick built, including one at Gateshead in 1805, and famously Catch Me Who Can, which pulled a coach carrying fare-paying passengers around a circular track in London in 1808. But the damage to the track caused by the Penny Darren engine left engineers with a dilemma: how to make a railway locomotive sufficiently light so that it did not break the track it ran on, but also had sufficient adhesion to move a useful load. Three remarkable schemes emerged. The first, and the most successful, was by John Blenkinsop in Leeds, who successfully developed a rack and pinion railway at the Middleton Railway in 1812. The second was put forward by the Quaker duo of William and Edward Chapman. The brothers Chapman had between them taken out a dozen patents between 1798 and 1812, and in 1812 they took out a joint patent for a locomotive which hauled itself along a chain fixed between the rails. The same patent also covered the bogie. This chain locomotive was steamed in 1813 on the Heaton Wagonway near Newcastle, and at the Lambton Wagonway in 1814. Finally, William Brunton enters the arena. Born in Scotland in 1777 and apprenticed to his father and grandfather, Brunton moved to Birmingham in 1796 to work for the famous Boulton and Watt, where he eventually became the works manager. He left them in 1808 to work for the Butterley Iron Company, where, during 1812 and 1813, he designed and patented a wholly remarkable steam locomotive, a locomotive dubbed the Walking Horse, and which was propelled not by rack and pinion or a chain, but by legs. The first mechanical horse was built for a narrow-gauge tramway at Cryche in Derbyshire in November 1813. It had a single cylinder, and the boiler was reputedly capable of sustaining a pressure of 500 psi, but this is probably unlikely. It was very light, only weighing 4,500 weight, and was capable of moving at 2.5 miles per hour. A second, larger engine was built in 1814 for the New Bottle Colliery near Newcastle. This was a 2-cylinder machine, and was capable of moving a load up an incline of 1 in 36, and was estimated to be about 4 to 6 horsepower. This engine drew the attention and admiration of local colliery owners and engineers, but sadly it all ended in tragedy. A special run was to be made in July 1815 before a vast concourse of spectators and VIPs, but the engine man had tampered with the safety valve, screwing it down tight, and the boiler blew up with a deafening explosion, killing 11 people and injuring at least 46 more. And thus ended the career of the mechanical horse, but not of William Brunton. He left the Butterley Ironworks in the same year and became the managing partner at a foundry in Birmingham. Despite the eccentricity of his mechanical traveller and its untimely demise, Brunton continued as a well-respected engineer, and he was involved with the promotion of several railway projects, including the London and Birmingham Railway and Brunel's Great Western. So that's a spotlight on Brunton's mechanical horse. We may look at it today with amusement, but in its day it was cutting-edge technology. It was a legitimate attempt to create a steam locomotive which had sufficient power to move a useful load, but was also light enough to not damage the track it ran upon. Lest we think that Brunton's engine was a one-off, Thomas Mead of Hull patented a steam engine to go by legs in 1813, and some road coach designs were also propelled by legs. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. If you'd like to find out more about John Blenkinsop and the Middleton Railway, check out my video, John Blenkinsop, The Basics. You should also check out this link to see a working model of Brunton's Mechanical Traveller.